Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'll be making a video that I actually don't think I've ever made before, which is a favorites video. So I'll be sharing my faves and recommendations of 2023 when it comes to so many things: products, books, movies, foods and drinks, recipes, workout videos, YouTubers, and a lot more. I will be using video chapters in the description box for the different categories, so feel free to use them. And also, this video is not sponsored by anyone. Some of the products I mentioned were gifted to me, so in that case I will clearly mention it. But this video is not sponsored by anyone. This is just my personal faves and recommendations of things that I've just been really enjoying this year. I have some chai here, so feel free to get cozy and grab yourself something nice to drink or maybe a little snack, and let's dive right in. First, I want to talk about certain products that I've been really enjoying this year. As always, I am a minimalist, I am going to mention this just because these products work well for me doesn't necessarily mean that they will also for you. So just try to be intentional and mindful. There's nothing wrong with buying things occasionally, in my opinion, but if this is not something that you really think would be of value to you, or you already have something else that works, etc., then just keep your money in your wallet. I'm gonna put my camera just a little bit lower because, no, this is too low, wait. There. First product on my list that I've been really enjoying this year is my huge drying rack. I know this is so funny that I'm like, ooh, look at my drying rack, but I really think this has changed my life a little bit this year. So before this, I had a really old drying rack. I've had that ever since we moved out of our parents' homes around 10-11 years ago. And I remember vlogging one day on Patreon, and I was just hanging up the laundry, and the thing just collapsed because it was so old. So I wanted a huge one, and this is so nice because you can really space out your laundry so that it really dries up a lot quicker, and I feel a lot fresher. It smells a lot fresher because the things are really spaced out and you can use all the different things. So the one that I have is from Lifeheight, I think, and it's bigger than I am. So it took a little getting used to, but this has really changed my laundry game and I'm really happy with it. Next up is my backpack. This is from JanSport, and this is a big backpack. I think this is supposed to be used for students, but I've been using this for traveling. So this year we actually traveled quite a bit, a lot more than is usual for us. We went to Madrid, we went to London, and we went to Antwerp. And for all of those trips, I just used only this backpack. I love traveling light with only a backpack. I think it makes the whole thing so much easier. And why I love this one so much is I have used this not only for traveling, but also for getting groceries and stuff, because we do our groceries on foot. So we walk to the grocery store, we walk back. And so I have put so much weight into this thing, and this doesn't show any use or wear and tear yet. So I really think with how much I've already used it and how it still looks brand new, that I can keep using this for 10 years or maybe even more, I don't know, but that's what makes me so excited about this backpack. Next item that I really liked this year is our new vacuum, and we eventually decided to go for a cordless stick vacuum for the first time. We didn't go for a Dyson, we went for a Samsung because of two reasons. One, there was a really good deal, and number two also was that this particular one just got really good reviews. When it comes to vacuuming, there are so many options now, and it really depends on you, your home. If you have a larger home, I don't know if I would recommend a stick vacuum because the battery life is 20 minutes or something, and for us with our smaller apartment, that's absolutely fine. But if you have a larger home, maybe you would need several batteries if you want to do everything. So I don't know if I would recommend it then, but I love this so much more than our old super heavy vacuum with one of those cords. We had that for 10.5 years or so, and eventually it broke. I also love that now I'm getting it out if there's a little bit of breadcrumbs in the kitchen, or if someone spills something, it's very easy to just take it vacuum for like a minute and then hang it back, as opposed to having to lug around a heavy thing and then I have to like unplug it on that side of the house if I want to vacuum here and everything. This is just a lot easier. So after having used this one for, I don't know, like maybe 4 months or something, I'm really a big fan. I can recommend it if that is something that you think you would enjoy using. Next product that I've really been loving this year is our Constructive, which is our closet in the office, which is from IKEA. This comes in several colors, I think, and several combinations. We got the combination with the little closet with the doors and then a slightly larger shelving, open shelving. We paid 180 euros for both of these together, which I think is a very good price because when it comes to IKEA, the quality kind of changes a little bit when it comes to the products that they have. We also have the PAX wardrobe and I kind of have mixed feelings about that one. But when it comes to the Constructive, I actually think that the quality is rather good, especially when you consider the price. I just know that this is one of those things that we will keep using for years and years and that will be in our home for a very long time. And the funny thing is that every time someone comes over to like look at our new apartment and stuff, they always compliment this Constructive because yeah, it just looks really good there. So I'm very happy with it. Next up is an oldie but goodie, something that we've really also enjoyed this year in our new home, which is our phone tray. So this isn't about the tray itself. You could use anything and everything as a phone tray, but the key thing here is that we have a little tray where we put our phones when we're not using them. So that means that that's where they live. They're not like around us and they don't distract us. This is the best tip that I could give you if you want to improve your relationship with your phone, to just not have it with you all day, but have just one place in your home that is a designated phone place. That's where they go, and if you want to use them, you have to go all the way there to grab it, use it, put it back, and then do your thing. And that really has helped us a lot. So definitely something that I will keep using next year too. Next up is this little guy, very simple, our stone salt lamp candle holder. I got it earlier this year and somehow I just really love this. I love how it feels and the color is really beautiful, and especially if you use this, if you light the candle, it just makes it look so cozy and warm. But it's just one of those things that I kind of bought kind of on a whim, although I've secretly been wanting one for years. But I came across it, I thought, yes, that's what I want for my home. I got it and I'm just really happy with it. Next up, second to last in this category, are my Japanese teacups. I got these for my birthday from my boyfriend and I really appreciate it. They are handmade and they are just absolutely beautiful. I just really think that if there is something that you love to drink, the thing that you are drinking it from really makes a difference. And I think personally that it is worth investing in something that really like elevates the whole experience and makes you just so much more happy when you drink it. I've been getting some questions from you about where I got these. These are from EQT. That's the company that I also sometimes work for with a sponsored video, but I've known them for a long time. I've ordered from them many times, so I just really like their teas. I'll come back to that one later in the video. But they also sell like really beautiful teaware, and that's where he got this. Since I have worked with them quite recently, I do still have a coupon code. I will leave it in the description box. It's for 15% off. Again, this is not sponsored, but I do think that the coupon code is still valid right now, but I don't know how long it'll remain valid. So just like put it out there, if you do want to order something from them, you know, why not save 15%? So I'll leave that in the description box. And lastly, in this category, I could not make this video and not include this item, my noise cancelling headphones. If you are sensitive to sound like me, this can really make a big difference. Obviously, I use them for work when I'm editing videos and things like that. But I also use them, for example, when I'm vacuuming and I don't want to deal with like the noise from the vacuum. If the neighbors are installing a new kitchen like a couple of weeks ago, these things come in handy like so often. My model that I have is a little bit older. They have newer models now that I do think are better. My boyfriend has one that's like a little bit newer than mine, and you can tell a difference. So do your own research when it comes to these things. You can get mine, it is still very good. But you can also get one like slightly newer, slightly better, whatever fits your budget and your needs. But yeah, that's definitely something that like I use this every single day. Next category is beauty items. I have 4 that I've been really loving this year. First one that I want to tell you about is this Osea Hyaluronic C Serum. So this is a water-based hyaluronic serum for your face, and I am definitely in love with this. Osea has gifted some of their products to me this year, so I've been using a lot more of them, and I really do think that like my skin has changed. It's a lot better. And especially this one, this is like my favorite for my face, the C Serum. I would say that this glass bottle lasts me about maybe like 5 months or so. Yeah, this is my 3rd one, so I've been using it for a while, and this is definitely a product that I actually don't really want to be without anymore, because it does make such a big difference if you have dry skin like me. Also, Osea is vegan, cruelty-free, all of that stuff, which I just really appreciate. Next one is also from Osea, but for my body, and it is the Undaria body oil, made from seaweed, I think, and this is also definitely has been a game changer for me this season. I always struggle with dry skin, especially in the winter time, and with this body oil I just put some on after showering. First of all, it smells amazing. It smells like tangerines for some reason. It smells nice and it just leaves my skin feeling like super hydrated. I never have where you're just sitting on the couch and then suddenly you get like itchy skin on your legs because it's so dry. That is something that I used to get every winter, and since I started using this product, nothing like that anymore. So definitely very nice. Next up we have a perfume. This is the Glowing Cherry Blossom from The Body Shop. This is about halfway through and I've had this for about a year, so I don't use perfume every day, and I used to be someone who would use perfume every day, like several times a day, and I had a huge perfume collection. So I kind of wanted to be that person that you could kind of smell coming but like in a good way. And now I prefer my scents to be just a little bit more subtle, let's put it that way. And so like a couple years ago, I went back to, you know, just having one perfume, using that up. But I do really love this scent. It's nice and floral, it's fresh, it's not like too overwhelming, it's not too sweet. And I really enjoy using this, so I always look forward to putting this on. And last in this category, I want to mention my deodorants. These are from Wild. I have worked with Wild this year a couple of times, but this is not sponsored, like they don't know I'm making this. This is just me saying that I really enjoy their deodorants a lot. They smell so nice. I've tried a lot of natural deodorants, and it was always that either my skin got irritated or the application was really annoying, or they just don't work. I feel like sweaty and not like super fresh. But these don't have any of these issues. They really keep me fresh. They smell amazing. They're soft on the skin. I love how eco-friendly they are. Just yeah, I'm in love with these deodorants. They really are a game changer in my opinion. Alright, let's talk about books. I have read a lot of books this year, and sometimes I will do like a full overview of all the books that I've been reading over on Patreon. So the last video that I made was a couple months ago, and in that video I think I discussed like 18 books that I've read. I'm gonna keep it a lot shorter here, but I want to mention a few that have really stuck with me. So the first one is Moshi Moshi by Banana Yoshimoto. This book is about Yoshie, whose father, a musician, passes away in a suicide pact with an unknown woman. So there's a lot of like mystery there, and she and her mother are dealing with their grief around that whole experience. She moves to a neighborhood in Tokyo that is a little bit more traditional, a little bit more quiet. There's lots of like privately owned small tea shops and bookshops and cafes, and the whole feeling just feels very I don't know, like a place where you could go to stop for a while and review your life and kind of pick things up again and process things that have happened to you. I feel like this place that the book takes place in is very special, and I think that's why it stuck with me so much. I also love how she marries food with grief, and she talks about impermanence, about everything changing and everything eventually ending and how to deal with that. It's a very beautiful book. Something else that I've been really enjoying this year is the Grishaverse books. So I know I'm late to the party. These things have already been turned into a Netflix show, I think. But yeah, I read them this year. So first is the Shadow and Bone trilogy, then the Six of Crows duology following after that, and then the King of Scars duology, which I've actually not completely finished. I still have like 1 or 2 hours to go in the second book. I'm not necessarily someone who reads a lot of YA, but when I do read it, it is YA fantasy usually, and these books have really, like, I've really been enjoying them a lot. Next up is Circe by Madeline Miller, another one of those books that I really enjoyed and has stuck with me ever since. This is a Greek mythological retelling of Circe, who is the daughter of Helios, and she makes an appearance in the Odyssey and everything that I've read in high school, where she is like a witch on an island that turns Odysseus's men into pigs. And so she kind of has a bad rep because of that, but this book tells things from her perspective, and I thought it was so well done. I loved the story, I loved the messages beneath the story. I loved her character so much, it inspired me on such a deep level. And I already bought another book of hers, but I haven't read it yet, Song of Achilles, I think, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next up is the last fiction book on the list. It is Breasts and Eggs from Mieko Kawakami. Mieko Kawakami is quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. I loved her other book, All the Lovers in the Night, but I read that last year, so I couldn't include it in this video, but these books really have stayed with me. Her writing is very, very, very good. I love these like slice of life stories, and she does them so well. There's a lot of symbolism. Her prose is beautiful. It's one of those books that puts things onto paper and into words that you've never really been able to express yourself, but you have kind of felt it deep down. Next up, I'm gonna go through these quickly. The 25th anniversary edition of The Highly Sensitive Person by Elaine Aron. I'm going to stop talking about this book because you already know how much this changed my life. But if you get it, I do recommend getting the 25th anniversary edition one, because it has some additional information that has been like researched since then. So yeah. Lastly is a cookbook, Everyday Vegan, from Lena Omrani. I think this is only available in Dutch, unfortunately, so I'm gonna keep it short, but Dutchies, I recommend this. We've made a lot of recipes from this book, and they're all great, and they're budget friendly, they're tasty, they're healthy, they're easy. So yeah, if you are interested in cooking, I recommend checking this out if you can read Dutch. Next up, shows and movies. I have 1 show and 2 movies. Haven't really been watching a lot of shows this year, but one that I did watch and really, really loved was The White Lotus. Although I have to say that I've only seen the season 1. I've seen it twice because I loved it so much. Season 2, I watched the first episode and I really did not like it. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm the only one in the world. But I really didn't like it. I felt like it was so different from season 1 in many crucial ways that kind of put me off from watching the rest of it. So, haven't seen season 2, but season 1 I thought was one of the best shows I've ever seen. And then 2 movies, both from Studio Ghibli, that I kind of have rediscovered my love of this year. And the first is The Wind Rises. I don't know what to say about this movie if I don't want to make it too long, but let's just say that this is a true work of art, and oh, it's one of those stories that kind of rips your heart out, but you'll be thankful for it. It's beautiful. And also another one from Studio Ghibli that I've been really loving this year, and that is Whisper of the Heart. It's a story about young love. It is a story about finding your passion and your place in life. And you know that feeling when someone you admire is just so far ahead of you when it comes to following their dreams, and like they really know what they want to be when they grow up, and they're already so talented, and you just feel so left behind and you don't know what to do, and it just makes you question everything. It encapsulates that feeling so well, and it's one of my favorite movies. Next up, we have some YouTubers that I've been watching this year and really enjoying. The first one is Nick Lewis. I feel like he's super popular now. He makes videos about interior design, really helpful for me in decorating this place. I've learned a lot from his videos in terms of just home decor, and it happens to be a topic that I'm interested in, and he explains it very well. So I've learned a lot from him, but I also just really find his videos to be very funny and entertaining. I feel like he's great on camera. His rant about just drinking boxed wine instead of being like this wine snob, and him being like, I'm not apologizing for it, it made me laugh so hard. It made me like spit out my tea. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, I recommend checking him out. Another YouTuber that I've been really enjoying this year is Lil Simsy. She's a gamer. She plays The Sims, so it's very niche. If you don't like The Sims, then this is probably not for you, but Kayla, just to me, she comes across as just being genuinely such a nice, kind person. I love her narrating. Sometimes she's just talking about her life or talking about a Sims build, and I don't even play The Sims anymore. But something about her videos always makes me feel happier, and she makes me smile, and I don't know, she kind of feels to me like she's my little sister, and I think she's very popular. I think a lot of people basically watch her for her. She comes across as just such a kind person. So if I'm in a bad mood, I'll just put on some Lil Simsy and I'll feel better in about like 15 minutes or something. So yeah, she has a gift. Lastly, on YouTube, I've been really loving this year the channel Lo-Fi Girl. You can also find it on Spotify. It's a lo-fi music channel, and it's just so relaxing. Food and drinks. So this video could not be a favorites video without me talking about my green tea obsession. I've been really enjoying the green teas from EQT this year again. This is Yana, which is my personal favorite sencha of theirs, and Miyuki, which is my personal favorite matcha. I've repurchased these recently, so this one I'm going to open this in a few days. This one I've used up already almost. Like I said, I have worked with EQT in the past. I hope to be able to continue working with them in the future. And I have a discount code that is valid for I don't know how long, but I will leave it in the description box just in case you're interested, because I still get questions from people about my green teas, and so I don't think that, of course, everyone has seen every video of mine. So if you haven't seen those videos, then yeah, you know now that that's where I get my green tea from. Next up, I have some recommendations when it comes to food. These are the products from Weedy, and the products from Typhoon. So I'm not sure if you can get these where you live. I don't think that they are Dutch necessarily, so they might be available. This is a smoked tofu with bits of almond and sesame seeds. These are seitan sausages. First of all, they are so tasty. I know that they don't necessarily look that tasty, so it took me a while to try these out. But now that I've gotten used to it, we've been really preferring things like this over the more realistic mock meats, like the mock chicken and the mock burgers and things like that. These are much more natural. We buy these in one of those eco supermarkets, so they use a lot fewer additives and things like that. Also, they have an insane amount of protein. So if you can get these where you live, I recommend checking out, any of their products are good. So Weedy and Typhoon. Lastly, we have a recipe that I want to share with you. You're always asking me, can you share some simple, easy recipes that you have been enjoying. So here it is, my boyfriend's noodle recipe. He makes this for me, and he was taught this recipe by a friend of his who's also a chef. And these noodles, every time my boyfriend makes them, I just fall in love with him a little bit more because they are so tasty. So you just boil some noodles, whichever ones you like, doesn't matter. And then you stir fry your veggies. Again, doesn't matter which veggies, this works with anything. We usually do something like bell pepper, zucchini, maybe some bimi, which is like a cross between asparagus and broccoli, or some mushrooms, some shiitake, whatever you like. And then you make the dressing separately. So I'll put it on the screen here, the exact ingredients that you use to just like stir them together, make a dressing. And then once everything is cooked, you just put the noodles with the vegetables in the pan. You pour over this dressing and you serve it. And then my boyfriend usually serves this with something like I just showed you, like some tofu. And he will usually put some like garnishing, like some sesame seeds or some shichimi togarashi, which is like a Japanese spice mix. These are optional, but the thing is, like, just make some noodles, make some veggies, make the dressing separately, and just pour everything together at the end, and it's so nice. And lastly, in this category is another hot beverage. This is grain coffee. So I discovered this year, and I think it's great because it is doesn't have caffeine, and I personally don't really enjoy decaf coffee. But sometimes you're just in the mood for like a nice cappuccino or a latte or something, like a lovely like warm beverage with oat milk that you can kind of sip. And then if you don't want caffeine, I kind of don't really know what to do. Sometimes I'll make chai, but this is great too. So this is from Sol Natura. I don't know if they have that where you live, but I think grain coffee is something that they do sell like in different brands wherever you go. So it has several kinds of grains, chicory and fig. That's it. Super strange. This is like a powder that you just kind of dissolve into hot water, like an espresso. And then I use it basically the same way that I would use an espresso. So I'll put some steamed warm oat milk on it, and I have like a latte kind of drink. It doesn't necessarily taste like coffee, but it drinks like coffee, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying that this particular thing is like super tasty on its own, but if you're craving coffee and you don't want the caffeine, then I do think that this is a great alternative. All right, next category are workout videos. I am getting more and more questions from you to like make a video about how I work out from home and stuff. So here are my recommendations from this year. So I do all my workouts with YouTube. I just roll out my yoga mat, I put on my workout clothes, and I do a workout video. Sometimes two, depending on how long they are and how much energy I have. First channel that of course I want to recommend is Yoga with Adriene. If you do yoga like on YouTube, I'm sure you know who she is. I think Adriene is amazing. I've been doing yoga with her for, I don't know, like maybe 8 years already. Such a long time. And I have tried several other like yoga YouTube channels, and they are all great. So this is not like anything bad about them, but for me, Yoga with Adriene just has something more. I feel like for me, it is the safest way to do yoga because I'm not very flexible, and I have had muscle injuries in the past. So I have torn my hamstring really badly when I was still doing full contact karate when I was younger, and I have some more injuries that they make my muscles quite fragile. And what I like about her is that she builds the poses usually like from the ground up. So instead of doing a really advanced pose and then afterwards showing you a way to do it like the easier way, which in my case is kind of sometimes a little bit dangerous for my hamstring, she will first show you the easy way, and then she'll say like, if this is easy for you, then you can add on to it, and then she'll do the advanced pose. So you can kind of feel for yourself where you're at and how far you want to go. Then another channel that I've really been enjoying is Eleni Fit. I'll leave links to these workout videos, by the way, in the description box below, the ones that I've been enjoying. What I like about her videos is ever since we moved in here, like we have people living below us. And so the workout videos that I used to do that involved a lot of like jumping and jumping jacks and things like that, I cannot really do because our downstairs neighbors would be kind of angry probably. So she has a lot of videos that are no jumping, which is great for, you know, if you live in an apartment. So that's kind of how I came to her. I feel like her videos are like aerobics, cardio type videos that for me are really good because they give me a nice challenge, but I never have to like cross my boundaries in any way. Like they're doable, but it'll still give me like a really good workout. And another channel that I've been enjoying is Pamela Reif. She has some like Pilates workout videos that I really enjoy, so I will link that in the description box as well. So basically how I work out is I feel my energy levels. If I want to do like a really quiet stretching session, I'll do like a soothing, gentle yoga practice. If I want to go like burn a lot of calories, get my heart rate up, then I'll do an Eleni Fit. If I want to build muscle tone, I'll do like a Pilates video or power yoga video. So depending on how I'm feeling, I'll just choose like one or two of these videos and then I will do them. Next category is apps, but it's not really a category because I only have one. I don't spend a lot of time on my phone, I don't have many apps installed, but one that I have really been loving this year is Duolingo. So I've been doing Duolingo for, let's see, 537 days in a row. I really like this app. I've been using it to learn Spanish and also improve my Japanese, and it's a language learning app. Obviously, I think learning new languages, I personally don't even feel like I need a good reason. I always want to learn at least one language, like be learning a language. I feel like it keeps me, this kind of disproves the point I'm trying to make. I wanted to say like it keeps my mind agile. Duolingo does a great job at making learning fun. So I think I spend about like 15 minutes a day on average. So it doesn't like take a super big chunk of your time, but you are really learning it. And of course, if you want to be able to speak it with confidence, like in conversations, it does also really help if you know someone that you can practice with, or if you go to a class where you can actually speak it. And that's something that Duolingo doesn't have, obviously. But when you compare it to, you know, not learning a language, I have learned a lot through Duolingo that I wouldn't have otherwise. And just the gamification and the way that the icon changes depending on how long you haven't practiced yet. So if I haven't practiced yet that day at like 8 p.m, there's going to be a really angry Duolingo owl on my screen that I think is kind of cute. So they do a really great job at keeping you motivated and keeping it fun. And it's just a great way to, you know, train your mind, learn a language, and have fun doing it. Next category is video games. I have two. First one that we have been loving, my boyfriend and I, this year is Sackboy. Sackboy is incredibly cute, and it is the kind of game that puts a smile on my face. As soon as I start it up and you see Sackboy with his face, it already lifts my mood. It's one of those video games that is challenging but not too challenging. Like, it's so creative, the music is really nice, and if you enjoy, you know, kind of platform video games, which isn't even my favorite genre, to be honest, but yeah, I can really recommend Sackboy. And we loved it so much that actually we now have a Sackboy little statue that holds up your controller for you, that I thought was too cute. Another game that, wow, has really stayed with me is an RPG. It's called Xenoblade 3. So I have played Xenoblade 1 and 2, and I really love those two as well. I'm a Xenoblade fan. But oh my god, Xenoblade 3 was, the storyline was so good. I remember a certain chapter near the end in this game that ripped my heart out. And I was crying so bad. I was just going through it. It was just like, oh. And then just when you think that it cannot get any worse, like the worst imaginable thing happening, the game just kind of doubles down and makes it even more like tragic and heartbreaking, but like also kind of like in a good way. The adventures, the battle system, the characters, I really enjoyed everything about this game. I really recommend it. All right, that's it. No doubt this video has gotten quite long. My apologies. If you ask me to tell you about my favorite things, I'm just going to get more and more excited as time goes on, and I kind of just don't want to shut up. So, but I do hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know some of your favorites this year. I would love to know. Any recommendations in any of the categories I mentioned? Leave them in the description box. If you enjoy my videos here, then you can always join us on Patreon as well. I make more videos over there that are only on Patreon. And if you join, then you will immediately get access to all of these videos. We're getting close to 100. I post 2 new ones every month. And the videos over there are always just a little bit different. So there are vlogs. We're getting ready to do a new tea time chat soon. There are deep dives into minimalism, simple living. Like last month I made a video about making friends and just a whole kind of like different topics. You can join for $5 a month, and that is a great way to like financially also support this channel, because the income that I make through Patreon helps me to keep making these videos on YouTube and pay for all the business expenses and things like that. But it's also just a really nice community with very friendly people, super positive. So if you can join, and if you want to join and support the channel, then definitely check it out. I kind of want to take this opportunity to thank you all for this year. Oh, I'm getting emotional already. Wait. This year has been an incredible year for me, both personal and with the channel. I feel like it's only getting better. I don't know what I did to deserve all of you. This community, it means so much to me. I'm so happy to see the channel growing and to see the community section, like the comment section, still being like so friendly and people responding to me and to each other, and it makes me feel so warm and fuzzy on the inside. Also, like, we bought an apartment and we've been wanting to do that for years, and we kept like failing, and I feel like this year everything just kind of, I don't know, happened and came true, and it's been an amazing year. And so I just want to thank you for being a part of it from the bottom of my heart, and I'm really looking forward to keep making content for you next year too. So I hope you'll stick around. All right, I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. I wonder if any of the people I mentioned in this video are going to watch it, like Lil Simsy or maybe Elaine Aaron, or that would be so cool.